Hello, beautiful people. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today I am reviewing the Carbony side-blown flute. I've played this actually I think once on the channel. I've had it for ages and I was really meaning to get to grips with how to play it properly. So today I'm going to show you how it arrives, how it fits together, and how it sounds. Now, as you can see, the Carbony flute comes in its own little pouch with the Carbony Celtic Winds logo across the front here. It's tied together and the strings are quite long, so you can wrap them around quite a few times. Now, if I unravel this, you'll see that the pouch has three individual sections, a flap here, and the inside is red. And you can see each individual section of the flute fits into the pouch. The pouch is of different sizes, so the largest section goes here in the bottom, and there are two smaller slots here for the other parts of the flute. The flute comes in three sections. You can see at the end of the mouthpiece here, you have the Carbony Celtic Winds logo, a hole for blowing through, and the top of the flute, which attaches to the middle section. You just push them together like so and close the gap here. You can see that there are rubber rings here as well to help keep the flute together and in place. And of course you can rotate the flute to adjust the positioning of the mouthpiece and the positioning of the finger holes. The bottom section again has the Carbony Celtic Winds logo on the bottom and fits in just like the previous section did before. You'll hear a click when everything is together. Now, this Carbony flute is the equivalent of the Carbony low D whistle. It also has the chimney extender feature on the inside of the flute to enable the finger spacing to be closer together, so you can still use your fingertips if required, or your finger pads, to play this flute. You don't actually need to use a piper's grip to play this flute, although you can. The body itself is a tapered bore flute. Again, this helps with the sound of the flute and also makes the finger spacing easier to reach. The flute itself is heavier than the Carbony whistles. The finger spacing is pretty similar. It might be a little further spaced on this, but not particularly. Again, I mean, I can reach this with my finger pads, so if you are interested to play low flutes or low whistles, these chimney extender features really are the best way to go if you have small hands or even slender fingers. They really make the difference in playing. Now, as I've mentioned, this is much heavier than the Carbony low whistle. And of course, you do have the transverse mouthpiece and embouchure to get past. But you can hear that once you get that, the flute has a beautiful, rich and haunting sound. Now, obviously, with regard to things like the volume and the balance of this flute, I'll play a quick scale so you guys get an idea of how it sounds. Cleanliness of the scale on this instrument is far more down to experience and embouchure than it is to the instrument itself. So as you guys can hear, I would need practice to get that up to its full potential. But it's a rather balanced sounding instrument. The high notes aren't that much louder than the low notes. The low notes don't disappear because they're quiet. Everything is nice and strong and beautifully rich and warm sounding. Now, when it comes to build quality and design and sound, this is an absolutely gorgeous flute. I can't fault it. Obviously, Carbony flutes and instruments come with a lifetime guarantee. They are a little more pricey than perhaps some other whistles, but as far as musical instruments go, the quality of these are exceptional, and they're well worth the extra money that you might put in because you get a real quality instrument that is going to last you for a lifetime. Now, the embouchure of a transverse or side-blown flute is very different to tin whistle and low whistle. With low whistle, obviously, you're just blowing down a mouthpiece. You can't really get that wrong. Of course, there is the need to adjust the way you blow to put more air or faster air through to reach the higher notes, and slower or less air through to reach the lower notes. And the same sort of applies with this, but you also need to hit that correct mouth shape in order to make a sound out of this kind of flute at all. So if you order one, be prepared that it's not going to be as simple as just picking up a tin whistle. You will need to practice how to blow this and how to get that embouchure before you can actually even begin playing the instrument. Now you can hear that I probably haven't practiced enough with this as I should. And definitely getting the muscle memory in your fingers to play this and the positioning of the mouth to reach the higher notes is a real challenge. But the flute itself is beautifully made, plays so well. I've had other side-blown flutes that I've found more difficult than this. This one is pretty easy as far as they go. The only thing I struggle with is getting used to the fingers, because obviously when you have a side-blown flute, you end up with your fingers sort of tucked around the flute like so, and no matter what I try, I can't seem to straighten them out. So you end up with quite a tucked finger position in order to move your fingers around. And although it works, it's not the most comfortable, it's not the most flexible. So it makes playing faster tunes quite a challenge. So as you can hear from the way I sound when I play this, it's still using an awful lot of air with the technique that I have at the moment. The notes aren't as clean as I can get them if I'm playing tin whistle or low whistle. The notes themselves don't come out cleanly, they tend to blend together a little bit. So it's definitely something that requires a lot more practice. But the same can be said for tin whistle and low whistle. Obviously I've been playing for about 6 years now, so I have that experience on low whistle and tin whistle. I don't have that experience on transverse or side-blown flutes. Ornaments are a little more complicated on this than regular tin whistle in my opinion, again just because of the hand positioning. If I could manage to adjust that, that might help me have a little bit more flexibility for ornaments, but just be aware that it might be slightly more difficult on a flute than it is on a low whistle. So that is it from me today and the Carbony Low D Transverse Flute. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you'd like to find out more information about Carbony instruments, low whistles and flutes, they do all sorts of instruments. You guys can find more information linked in the description down below. And of course you can find information about the low whistle on my review right here. I have a low C and a low D. I've linked them both on screen for you now. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please do hit that big thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't and hit the bell so you guys get notifications every time I post a new video. Happy whistling, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.